Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Good evening. Welcome to RVing in New England. It's Wednesday night. Again, Wednesdays come around pretty quickly, John.
You know what? What's coming by like quick. Months go by like weeks.
That's true.
Weeks go by like months, and months go by like years.
Yep.
And I'm only half of your age.
That's right. So that means they've gone by four times faster for me than they have for you. Well, I don't know what your weather was like this week, but in Maine it rained all summer. In Maine, it has rained. We're going to talk about that tonight as we talk about our summer stories and kind of fall favorites. But what's new in your life these days?
Well, we have been watching the news all day long to see what is happening to our RV friends in Florida. And as I just picked up the weather map just a few moments ago, the hurricane that was in Florida last night is now up in North Carolina.
That's a tropical storm, right? That's a tropical storm.
It doesn't look like it's done as much, but the thing is this: a hurricane can devastate things in Florida. Now, I did see some news footage of the Tampa area, and there were some pretty destroyed properties.
Yep.
But I know where you are, just south of that. Not where you are at this moment, but where you are during the foul weather. For up here, it seemed to be nothing at all. But
we had for the second year in a row, we had absolutely no damage in Ave Maria. In fact, they had kept us current with newsletters, stating the forecast and emergency services and shelters and all that good stuff. And we never needed it. And the first one I got from them this morning was the 7:00 tea times will be pushed back to 7:30, and the restaurant will be open at 10:00 for breakfast. And that's and again, we're only less than an hour from Fort Myers. And Fort Myers, some of the same restaurants that were wiped out last year were flooded again yesterday. Not as bad, but Fort Myers Beach actually had flooding. Sanibel, Captiva had flooding, and it was crazy. I mean, some of the people that they interviewed, I didn't hear it. Well, Ben did put something in there about campgrounds. They hadn't had any stories on campgrounds, and I haven't had any input from any dealers to see if there was any damage to dealers in the path, because I do know that the dealers in Florida have a tremendous amount of inventory on their property, and RV1 had significant damage on their Fort Myers dealership last year with Ian, and they wound up rebuilding the whole thing. So it's too early to see what damage might be, but
well, when you look at physical structures, they rebuild so rapidly in Florida because they can build year round. And you know what? A building that's a historical building in Florida is probably 20 years old.
Yep.
So you know what? They tear it down, start all over again, change the color around, and they're ready to go. They're very resilient in Florida. But I was paying particular attention this year because this weekend, because we're planning on spending some time in Florida during the winter time, maybe the month of February. And the thing is this: you don't want to be planning on staying at a place that got wiped out because you didn't do your due diligence. And
right.
Maybe there might not be total wipeouts, but enough disruption that a place that you thought you could get into, you can't get into. So the name of the game is always to be on guard. And one of the things that I saw today that the Florida RV Association sent out, Campground Association, was so many rules about how to behave, if you will, for lack of a better term, during foul weather. And it's not
I saw that
tornadoes, but the fact is it's not business as usual. And if you've got to get out of town, so many of the cities in Florida have, they're attached to one major road. So once that major road fills up, if it's like 301, you've got tons of red lights to deal with.
Hmm.
So you know what? We've got to keep watching, and stay safe, be smart, and realize that those public
Well,
services are there
common
for your
sense.
benefit.
Common sense plays a big part of it too. I don't care whether you're, in a campground or in a city. There is an island north of Tampa called Cedar Key, and the forecast was that the entire island was going to be 15 feet underwater. And they showed the maps, and they said to the people, you have to get out of there because the entire island, all your houses and your buildings,
Yep.
are going to be underwater. Despite, then the police department went door to door begging the people to leave. They still had 100 people that stayed. Now, fortunately, it didn't flood 15 feet, but they don't know how many of the 100 are alive. They did have some big swells, but look in the face of death. They showed them pictures saying, "Look, this is Cedar Key today, and this is what it's going to be tomorrow." And it was all blue, and the blue was the ocean overtaking the entire island. But 100 people said, "No, we're going to stick it out."
Yeah. But
Don't call 911. Nobody's home.
I'm sure you'd agree that regardless of the type of inclement or foul or dangerous weather it is, that there are no boundaries on stupidity when it comes to people not listening or doing stupid things. I mean, you see it in New England all the time. Somebody with a car that is, got bald tires on it is driving on the interstate, and then they spin out and take 3 other innocent families with them. Somebody said it, you can't fix stupid.
It's really crazy. And then others are protected and managed to survive it. And
but I will tell you this.
Unfortunately, there were a lot of people impacted by this hurricane as they were last year in that Fort Myers area. People that some restaurants that had just opened a couple of weeks ago after a year of rebuilding got flooded again last night. Some houses, a hotel that had was getting ready with some renovations and put a whole brand new roof on, but it was still in trusses. At 2:00 in the morning, the entire roof blew off and came down on the street on Fort Myers Boulevard.
Yeah, and we should tell people
tins.
Because you've already really
could have made your own Tinker Toy set out of it.
Exactly. And speaking of Tinker Toys, a place with great toys for adults is Seacoast RV on Route 1 in Saco, Maine. By adult toys, I mean RVs, I mean park models, I mean travel trailers, I mean the Winnebago brand, I mean the Timberland brand, I mean the Crop brand. And the fact is, they've got everything outside as far as having a great stocked lot. But their store is one of the biggest, brightest, and best stocked RV stores that you're going to see anywhere. And if you're a dog fan, you've got 1, 2, 3 black labs and 1 golden lab, or yellow lab, not golden lab, yellow lab, to greet you when you come into the store. So they also have propane. I was just up there a week and a half or so ago and saw Amanda. Got my propane all filled up. And it was
nice. Another thing they do very quietly, they don't promote it a lot, but I've observed it being up here. They do a tremendous job with consignments. They manage to get, you go by there and they got Grand Designs and Alliances and Montanas and Cougars, and they only last for about, maybe a week or two, and they just market them to their database and push them out there, and people are very comfortable with them. They bring them in, they make them spotless and put them on the lot, and next thing you know, they're gone. But they have so if you're not ready for a new RV, they got a tremendous selection of consignments up there that you want.
Yeah, I saw a couple, and you can tell because they still have license plates on them.
Yep.
It's really the only way you can tell. And they're either in for service or they're in for consignment, but they do have license plates, which is one good thing because it means the vehicle's still up and running.
Yep.
And that's always important. And we've got a good show tonight because we've got Sheri Fuller coming on with us. And Sheri has been a longtime member of the New England RV Dealers Association. You see her at every Boston show, Providence show, Hartford show, Worcester show, show. She does it all herself, and she knows everything about
rental. And when RV Business printed the announcement of tonight's show, they said RV rental expert Sheri Fuller.
Wow, not queen, not rental.
Well, she's a quiet queen and a quiet rental expert. We'll bring her up in a minute. Let's see who got out of bed early tonight.
Yeah, we got a good crowd here.
Joined us. Wow, Don Hawes 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. He's early, right at 7:00.
No, Frank. Yeah, well, it's a tie between him and Frank. Hello, Frank. And Jerry from Cape Cod, Jim Conboy, New England RV Roof. Boy, Jim, you got to open up a subsidiary up in Maine. The way that it rained here this summer is ridiculous. They need a New England RV Roof in Maine.
Or Jim.
You need to do some more advertising. Well, actually, now that I think of it, Jim does go up and exhibit at the main show.
Right. But what he can do is he could always call our friends at Seacoast and say if people come in and they've got a major roof problem and they can't handle it themselves, send them down to Seacoast or send them down to
Frank's got a new place in Fort Myers, so his place was fine. Mine was fine too, Frank. I don't know if you were on early on, but I mentioned the first bulletin I got from our development down there, Del Webb, Naples. The first thing this morning said Golf Pro Shot open at 7, tea time 7:30, and the restaurant will be open at 10 o'clock if you want a late breakfast. So we got nothing. Wind and rain down there again.
Yep, that's good.
Estelle Drew, good evening, Estelle. Jerry Plant. What's Jerry say? I can fix stupid, but it's going to hurt. Well, I can fix stupid, and it only hurt for about 5 seconds when it travels through your body and you can't wake up again to figure out your next stupid trick. But there are some incredibly stupid people out there. And so Frank says, where'd you go?
You can't fix stupid, but that's why we have a mass state vehicle inspection program.
Yeah.
That's true.
And those are the people that are doing the inspection to tell you whether or not your car is okay.
But I'll tell you, when you walk through a campground and see the shape of some of the tires on these units that people are using, and it's just as dangerous in a travel trailer to ride it with basically rotted out tires, because I think everyone will agree you generally don't wear out the tread in a motorhome or a travel trailer because you just, at least in the Northeast, you don't use them year round. But the amount of dry rot that I see on some of these tires, or Tony, just chunks of rubber that are gone.
Tony, we were waiting for you. We didn't even bring up our guest until I said we have to wait till Tony's there. So Tony, we bring up our guest. Tony,
we have to talk because we're absolutely positively planning on Quartzsite, and we're going to meet a group of people down in Tallahassee and take about 9 days to go across to Quartzsite. And
when did you decide? When did you decide that?
Probably about a week or so ago. And then I figured out, wait a minute, I got the Boston show. But luckily, the Boston show is at the end of the month. So I've got time to do Quartzsite, then drive to Phoenix, get on a plane, fly from Phoenix to Boston, go to the Boston RV show for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and get back on the plane, fly back to Phoenix, pick up the RV and drive it back, maybe leave it in Florida, and then fly back to Boston.
Okay. So, all right, let's bring the queen of RV rental. Let's get Tony's quote out here. Tony did apologize on his third comment. He got around to apologizing for being late. Ladies, do you want to give us a drop? Do your best radio voice announce. She deserves better than our average guest.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us direct from Boylston, Massachusetts, on Interstate 290, just off Interstate 290 on State Route 140, the biggest RV rental place in all of New England. Let's have a fine New England RV dealers, RVing in New England welcome for Miss Sheri Fuller. Sheri?
How you doing?
How was that?
I don't know. Is that the best introduction you've ever had, Sheri?
Yes,
Without
that is
question.
the best introduction I've ever had.
Yeah.
And you are still in the office.
Yeah, we just moved a couple trailers that came back from the vineyard, and from the festival that was down there, we had 5 down there on rental with the Friends of Martha's Vineyard. Last weekend they had their big festival, so we had 5 units down there. There are a 2-week rental on each of them.
Well, that's kind of nice. Was one of them rented to John Kerry, or some of the
I'm not
Kennedy
sure
clan?
who they had. Some of the tags still on the trailers, but
Yeah.
they just rotated the performers through them is what they ended up doing. There were green rooms for them.
What kind of kind of group was it?
It was
Okay.
the music festival that they have every year. It's pretty much the last weekend of August, and they do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nice.
So
But it takes them it's a 2-week rental. It's a week to set them up, and then it's pretty much they use them for 3 days, and then they're back here within 3 days after that.
Who drives them onto the island, onto the ferry?
Walking City did the transportation, so we didn't have to worry about hauling them back and forth. They come up, they get them, they bring them down, they bring them back. So it worked out pretty good.
Hey,
Can't
that's
go wrong
nice.
with that.
Then you
That's
just
not bad.
cash the
Well,
checks.
don't forget, we set up 3 units up at Fitchburg Airport back in March for the Air Methods. They're doing a hangar up there for MediFlight. So those trailers aren't coming back until October 16th. So it's a 30-week rental on 3 units that are up there.
Hey, Sheri, don't tell people your business. They'll think you're making too much money.
But I mean, those are 2 good rentals that 2 good deals. And we've had a couple renovations, and of course, 1 house explosion, 1 other house fire, which are about a month and a month. Those are 2-month rentals that were just this past month.
Yep. So Sheri, behind your left shoulder, is that the big map that we had all those stickers on a couple years ago?
Yes. Well, actually, it's on the other side of the laptop, so it's on the other wall. It's the back
Which way
side.
you facing?
No, it's over her right shoulder.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, there's the stickers. Yeah. You know what? We can tell people this story now. When Chronicle visited the store
Yep.
a couple summers ago, we put a whole bunch of stickers up there to make it look like there was a lot going on. And
Hey, there was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on. And you know what?
We had a busy summer that year.
And the beauty of the whole thing is that they used it in one of the segments, because we had them in the Great Lakes. We had them in the what do you call it, Mount Rushmore, and all that.
Think about it. That they still run that show.
Yeah.
To this day, they keep rerunning it.
Yeah.
That's the best free advertising I ever did.
You keep thinking.
I know. I get emails that say, I saw you guys on Chronicle again. Man, how long was that? 5 years ago? Was that pre-COVID?
That was 2020.
21, right?
No, we were wearing masks for the ride. That was during COVID. 4th of July during COVID. That was July.
Yeah, and they wanted to report on why everybody was renting and buying RVs in COVID.
Exactly.
Right.
Did Zagami weasel his way onto that segment?
I think you did. You were in that segment because I've seen it a couple times.
They did that on a Zoom. They did that was a Zoom.
Oh, that's right.
We had to do everything on a Zoom other than her driving the motorhome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool.
I looked pretty good on that segment, actually.
Hey, we all look good.
It's amazing it's amazing, Zagami, what poor resolution and a lot of makeup can do.
Well, the real question, DePietro, is how come you weren't on that segment?
I was handling all the behind the scenes stuff. I gave them all the questions to ask.
And you couldn't figure out how to get your ugly mug in front of the camera.
Well, a good PR guy never gets on camera. So,
Well,
Sheri.
Okay, but then you're not a good PR guy, so you should have been front and center on the camera. Come on,
That's true.
dig the hole dig the hole a little bit deeper.
Well, Sheri, I'm going to go right to the topic that we're going to talk about tonight. But the whole point that I think people need to understand when they rent in the fall and early winter, whether it be for a football game or they're going out to Notre Dame for a game or they're going to somewhere away into another weather zone, they need to keep in mind that I'm sure you'd agree that anytime you're in New England after the 20th of October, you're subject to a freeze. So if you're going to go leaf looking or anything like that, you want to go into Canada now, you can do that. Keep in mind that you have to have that unit accessible for being winterized. And as far as I'm concerned, and Ryan Hadley will be happy to know, I would never attempt to winterize anything myself. Jerry Plant can do it. Palanche can do it. All those guys can do it with their eyes closed. I would forget something and have the unit freeze up. But isn't that important that, take that into consideration if you're looking about a late fall rental?
With us, we send them out basically all fall and into the winter. And the biggest thing is, as long as they keep the heat on, and if there are pipes under the cabinets and stuff, keep the doors open. Get the heat in there, and you should be okay. Don't hook up to water. Use the water tank, which is usually inside the coach, because it's mostly motorhomes, and the motorhome tanks are inside. Most of your trailers have the tanks outside, and those are the ones you got to worry about. But we send them out in the winter, and we will send that, the fall, and we will send them with water because people are leaf peeping. It's when you get into late November, early December, we won't put water in them. We will send them with no water, ready for water. So when you hit Virginia, you can add water if you're going south. But if you're staying in the Northeast, you can use the toilet, but we would rather you not use the sink in the shower so we don't end up with any broken pipes.
Yep, exactly. I think everyone would agree that has ever, tailgated at a major college football game, that there's nothing like doing it in an RV. Absolutely nothing.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Hey, I actually have one going to the Pats game on the 10th. And I think I've got one going down to Penn State also coming up.
Okay.
Now, is the 10th? Is the 10th
the 10th home game? I think it's the first game at
that's
July.
The Brady game.
That's a
Brady game.
Yeah. The only thing now people need to keep in account with they're going to the Patriots game is they only let you in. They only open those gates 3 or 4 hours before game time.
4 hours. 4 hours.
Right. So, and then what is the fee now? $150 or is it going higher?
I saw it's $150 because I had to look it up for the gentleman. So I finally found it, and it was $150 for RVs.
A few years ago when Buffalo wasn't playing well, you could you could tailgate at Buffalo. You could go into the stadium starting at 6:00 on Thursday night. Night. Okay. It was $25 and you could stay until 3 hours after the end of the game, whether it was Sunday afternoon or Sunday night game or Monday night game.
Wow.
So people from Buffalo would go there on Thursday night. They'd sleep there. They'd have their car with them. They'd go to work on Friday, come back to the place on Friday night, commence the tailgating again, and on Saturday and Sunday. And then when it was time to go home, they just went home.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy.
After they took a nap after the game was over.
Right. Because it takes you that long to get out of the parking lots.
Right.
Jeez.
But where do you find people are renting now? Where are the big fall destinations?
They're just starting to come in now. A lot of people are they've done their research, but they're just getting their questions out right now and checking availability. So they're just starting to book now for where they're going to go. I do have one going to Nova Scotia in September, but I don't think anybody's got a handle on when the leaf peeping is going to start. So we have very good availability. I mean, as of today, I have 2 more units to add to the fleet online. And after I add those two, we will have 76 units in our fleet
Wow.
that we own.
That's a lot.
Out of that, there's probably about 10 of them that are over the age of rentability, where the trailers are over 10 years old, the motorhomes are over 6 years old. But that still says that we have at least over 60 units that are available for rentals with at least 40 different floor plans.
And you know what, folks? I have been into so many of those units because my grandkids love going in and out. And there are some amazingly creative floor plans now, especially those newer units with the Murphy beds.
I know. Yep. Those are pretty unique. Even the little trailers, the little single axle trailers,
Yep.
They have the Murphy bed with the full dinette, with full-size corner bunks. You can sleep 8 people in a 23-foot trailer.
Yeah.
Single axle trailer.
Single axle trailer. You got 2 full-size corner bunks, a full dinette, and a queen bed because it's a Murphy bed.
So when you say full-size corner bunks, you mean they're not the twins. That's the
Oh no, they're full-size
full, and they cut off
corner in the bunk. Yep,
cut off the
they're
corner.
full-size beds.
So how do you get 8? Oh, that's right, because that's bunk. So you get 4 in the back corner.
Yep, and then 2 on the dinette, and then two on the queen Murphy bed.
Wow.
And it's only 23 feet. We've got 2 of those. Plus, they came out with the Murphy bed on with a slide. So now it's a U dinette that slides out. So now that's a full-size. That's a legit full-size bed. You still have the full-size 2 bunks, and you still have the Murphy bed, but you've got the floor space for everybody. So now you're not sitting on top of each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and still 23 feet.
The only issue is 4 of those people have to ride in the back of the pickup truck because
This is the problem. All 8 of them have to ride in the pickup. So good luck on that one.
Right.
Or you take 2 cars.
Maybe
and
have
go
a
that way.
van. So ballpark. I don't want to shoot, but ballpark. What would a 7-day rental on something like that be?
Right now, it's going $1,300 a week.
Okay. All right.
And say all in 13, 14, 15, say $1,700 tax prep and insurance.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. Divide that.
That's not bad to sleep 8 people. That is not bad.
You know what? You need 3 hotel rooms.
Yep, exactly.
You need 3 hotel rooms. And the other thing that people don't understand is even the fast food restaurants now. Somebody said, if you get one of those platters, the combos at McDonald's, a Big Mac with a large fry, they're $14, $15.
Not like that, but think of all the oil and the grease that goes with it.
In your body.
Eat your own cooked food.
If you're a single person going through the McDonald's drive-through and you want a breakfast sandwich or something, you cannot stay under $10.
No.
Under $10.
So that means McDonald's is the same price as the diner.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Try that with 8 people.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Hey, let's take a little poll here amongst our viewers. The other day we were coming back from Mohegan Sun. We had just at the last minute went down to Mohegan Sun. And I didn't bring any water with me. So, no, I know what it was. I had the water, but I didn't have creamers. So we had to pull into the service area for a coffee. A medium Dunkin' was like $4.89. $4.89.
$4.89.
$4.89 for a medium. So let me ask our audience this: would you pay double for a Dunkin' coffee over a McDonald's coffee? I'm not saying which one's better. I'm just saying, $4 used to be Starbucks territory.
Mm-hmm.
Now Dunkin' has reached.
I would. McDonald's coffee is not bad, by the way, but I like my Dunkin'.
Yeah.
and in fact, we're getting a Dunkin' in Del Webb, Naples. It's only going to be 5. I can go there with my golf cart in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Dunkin' and a Kelly's roast beef Sagami you're getting.
Kelly's roast beef is open in Naples, Florida. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So folks, just over on the right,
roast beef sandwiches.
Just type in Dunkin' or McDonald's and we'll see if an unscientific poll. But one thing, Bob, that is scientific is that it is exactly the time when we're supposed to run the commercials for
I
our
was
friends.
just getting it ready.
All right, our sponsor is Seacoast RVs, and I'm with Kendra Smith here today. And Kendra, talk about service in an RV dealership and why it's so important.
Service after the sale is a huge deal. You have to make sure that if there's anything that you need addressed while you're planning on going on your trip, or when you're actually on your trip and something unfortunately happens, you need to know that you have somebody that will back you and take good care of you after the sale.
How about preventive maintenance, having customers come back at a regular time? Because RVs are unique, they're handmade, it's like driving your house down the road. So how do you instruct the customers on what their responsibilities are on preventive maintenance and what you can do for them if they're not talented enough or just don't want to tackle it?
Well, I mean, beyond the spring opens or your winterizations, which obviously winterizations are extremely important, we help with resealing roofs, we help with greasing and servicing wheel services. We do a lot of that kind of maintenance stuff, checking your tires, things of that nature, just making sure that you're ready to go or that you're prepared for next season, basically.
And for the do-it-yourselfers, you've got one of the largest parts and accessory stores, certainly in Maine and on the East Coast. So talk about what they can find here to do these jobs themselves.
They can find everything here, and if they can't find it here, we can order it for them for sure.
All right. Kendra, thanks very much and appreciate your sponsorship of the show.
Anytime.
Always fun people. You know what? Before we jump back to Sheri, we should make sure that everybody knows that the Northeast Region Camping Charity is at Normandy Farms, September 15th to 17th, coming up here in a couple of weeks. And Sheri Fuller will be exhibiting for Fuller Rentals. Have you figured out how many units you're taking down this year, Sheri?
Yep, I'm going to go down with 2. We're going to bring the Class C Outlaw that we picked up in February, 31 foot with the garage area.
Yep.
Beautiful, 2,500 miles on it. That's it. It's a 2021. We're going to bring that down, and we're going to bring that Murphy bed with the slide. We're going to bring that one down.
On the single axle?
On the single axle. I want to bring that down as economy versus kind of luxury, but toy hauler. The toy haulers were a big hit last year.
I love the Outlaw, and that's been out there for a number of years.
That's going. How about this? It's going Saturday out to Illinois for 2 weeks.
Nice.
On a rental.
Yeah, Frank Conboy just did the roof of an Outlaw, and when that thing came out of New England RV Roof, you would have thought it was coming off the dealer showroom.
Wow.
And what an incredible investment it is. I mean, that's not a cheap motorhome, but it's such a functional. Does that have the bed loft above the garage?
Yes. This one's a 30. It comes out to 39 feet.
Wow.
The one, and that's the same one I had down there last year. And that is, I mean, you can seat 12 people in there and sleep 12 people.
Yeah. And Sheri, I think that's the one.
Party. That sounds like a party.
Yeah.
In addition to the bed above the back, the garage part, there's another loft before you go out, right, Sheri? That one there?
Exactly. So you get the loft upstairs, which is 2 individual beds up there. The queen, you go through the sliding glass doors to the garage area. You got the 2 couches that come down to give you 3/4 full beds. And you got the dinette up front for a 3/4 full. And the drop down overhead bunk is a full also with the weight of 500 pounds it can hold.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay. I'm okay. Now, let me ask you. Bob, you just can you put that charity thing up again? Okay. So 2 or 3 years ago, we had some winners that had never RV'd before in their life. It was the family in Rhode Island with a child with disabilities, but there were 4 or 5 other kids in the family. I think the mom was a nurse or the dad was a nurse. And Sheri donated the use of a
the trailer,
good-sized trailer that weekend. And I think we did it the following year too, because we were able to through our friends at Blue Water, we were able to get them 2 or 3 different campouts during the year. And,
Yes, you did.
Up in New Hampshire, where they gave them park models to camp in up there.
Yep.
But it should be pointed out that not only does Sheri exhibit at these events, but she donates, whenever there's a need like that. And I think that's very important to note that as a local corporate citizen, they do a lot more things than corporate national companies do.
All our local dealers do that because that's the nature of our members, to give back to the community. And
well, we do that. So we got next weekend, the weekend of the 8th, they have a charity in town that they started a couple years ago. It's a cornhole tournament, and they do it right at the 140 and 70, right at the football field. And we bring down one of the 25 footers that it's the rear bed, so it has a sofa and dinette up front. We drop it off that morning. They get to anybody that's going to get out of the weather can go in there. They can count the money in there. Safe place for the prizes and stuff. So it works out really nice. They are so appreciative. And then we also do, hold on, wait a second.
Is somebody stealing one of the units?
No, the scanner for town. So also we do the Boylston Lions. And we donate to them whenever they need a unit, whether they're selling Christmas trees or whatever they need, and we do a lot of donations during the season. The stuff comes in the mail. We just send the check in because we want to give back to the town. So it's not just being here, it's being able to help the town out and whatever we can do.
Yeah. And we should tell people, Sheri, do we even mention? Yeah, I think we did briefly, but tell people where you're located and the fact that your units are open all day, every day. So people don't feel as though they're going to get pitched.
What we do is we are open 7 days a week year round. We open the units every day. And if the weather is bad, if it's raining, they're unlocked, but you can still get in. We have at least a 20-page double-sided brochure. You get to take. It shows you every single unit with all the details for each unit and the unit number. The units are marked with ticket tapes with those numbers on there. So as you're going in, you have all the information in your hand. You can browse through 70 units without somebody hounding you. I call it hassle-free shopping. So you have the brochure. You know where the numbers are. You can see all the motorhomes. You go down one side, down the front, up on the stone. You can check them all out. You could be here for 4 hours and nobody bothers you. You have any questions? Come on up to the office. I'll price out whatever you want, but enjoy going through them. The slides are open. Find the one that you need.
Yep. So Sheri, have you ever, went to close up the units at night and found somebody asleep?
No, but poor Matt, my son, was opening up one morning about a year ago. Earlier this year. And he opened up one up on the stone. He popped the door open. He could see some sweatpants in the back bed. He's like, yep, I'm out of here. And beelined and called us. Yeah, there's somebody in that motorhome. We're like, did you call the police? He's like, no, I'm calling you. So never did find out who it was. But yeah, once in a while, it gets a little... After that, we're kind of you kind of look in the front windshield to see if there's anybody in the back bed.
Yep. Well,
but you know what? We have Wise cameras set up all over the property.
Yep.
I can watch them from my phone all day. We open the doors every day. We close them every night. We need people to know that they can come in and see these units opened up, so that they know what they're renting and they can be comfortable in what they're getting. So they can see what they're getting, pick that unit number. That's what you're going to get. But when you're looking at it, it's not nasty and dirty and all that yucky stuff.
What's great about that, they've got your brochure with them so they can circle the ones that like when they come back to the office. But if they've never, let's face it, I don't know if you ever did a survey, what percentage of your customers each year are renting for the very first time. They don't know an A from a B from a C. They don't know The dinettes go to beds. They don't know if beds drop down out of the ceiling. So it gives them trouble-free, like you say, search, get to know
And-
different types.
And it's nice because they do ask questions, but also I would say half of the people that show up here have never been in a motorhome, or a trailer. So they really don't have any idea. So they'll ask me, "Can you come with us?" Otherwise, they just browse at their own time. And then if they have any questions, I can go and I can show them. But I would say half the people that show up here have never been in a unit. They thought it would be a wonderful thing to do, and this is what they want to start. And this is where they're looking first.
So Sheri, I got 2 quick questions. I don't know if you still have this deal. I'm asking you this. I should have asked you before asking you. You had this deal, this try it before you buy it thing, where you always said, why spend all that money on an RV if you find that you don't like it? You want to go to those dirty bathrooms at the roadside rest areas and service areas. You want to eat greasy food. You want to go where you don't know who has been there before you. But do you still have the deal where if you rent it and then buy it, you get a portion of the rental fee taken off?
Yes. So basically, we still have the try before you buy. You take it do 2 days. If it's a motorhome, 200 free miles. If it's a trailer, doesn't matter. 2 days, 200 free miles. Come back. The 2-day rental is applied to the purchase. But if that one's not the right fit and you try another one, that 2-day would be applied to the purchase. So now you have 2 rentals that are applied until you find the right one that you want, and you have the lifetime parking storage that is available to you for free.
Okay.
So you can park it. We have a lot right out back. It's an acre lot. You can park it and have access to it 24/7 year round, so that you don't have to worry about it in your driveway. If you don't have the parking for it, it's free. There's no cost.
So if somebody lived in Boston or downtown Worcester in a condo or an apartment, didn't have a place for a motorhome, they could still buy a motorhome and keep it at your place.
I have probably about 3 or 4 that live in condos.
Yeah.
They park them here for the winter, or they park them in between because the condos don't let them. The driveway's not big enough. They don't have, especially in the winter, they'll come, they'll put a car cover on it, and they're all set for the winter.
Mm.
Yep.
When you look at the rentals, especially now coming up to the fall season. So the fall season, you've got fall foliage, tourism.
Yep.
You got football games, whether they're high
Yep.
school or football. You got people that want to head south or go to a NASCAR race or head south to Florida. Is it an even 1/3, 1/3, 1/3? What's the most popular form of rental do your customers have? What's the profile?
Getting away. Okay, you get the people that don't have kids. So now they're going to look at going because they don't have to beat the crowds, because they'll go during the week. So now they don't have to battle the families. You do have fall foliage coming up. Football games, I'm still teetering with those. You've got the college homecoming. Yes. You got the parents' weekend. Yes. You still have those colleges. Those are coming in a little late. Now you got to think about Columbus Day weekend. There's October. You've got to think about Thanksgiving and Christmas. You still have those people that are going to see family. They don't want to impose. So they'll take the motorhome, drive, park in the driveway, plug into the house, and still have their own space and not impose on the family, but still be able to spend the holidays together. And that is huge these days.
Yep.
Yeah.
The best guests.
Yep.
Yep.
Take your hotel. Take your
Like
hotel.
the hotel. The hotels are so far away from everybody's houses, families' houses. So why not just go and park in their driveway and just plug in? You got heat, you're fine.
But the other thing, and you don't see enough written about it, but it's out there. The cost of hotel rooms now
have skyrocketed.
Do you know? I had dinner in downtown Portland the other night, Portland, Maine, and the hotels in Portland, Maine, downtown, are going for $600 to $800 a night.
Yep.
What?
Portland, Maine. Now
In Portland?
in Portland,
More than New York City. more than New York City,
and you
Why?
can't find a room. So
because they can get it.
you can go to Bailey's for $100 and have a beautiful site in the middle of the woods, and then go to Portland for dinner.
Holy cow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And
But
these
that's
are not.
what we're talking about. It's cheaper to get a motorhome and go to a park than it is to try to get a hotel and not be able to cook.
and I'm sure that's not just Portland. John, didn't you? What was the Fairfield up in Portland? It was like 350 or something.
It was the 424.
Yeah,
and that's not. Fairfield is not a Marriott or a rent. I mean, it's a Marriott owned property, but it's not a Renaissance
it's not a Marriott.
or a JW Marriott. But 424. And you know what? You can't blame the hotel people because for 2 years they had to starve.
And that's just it. That's why they can get what they're asking right now, because they survived those 2 years.
Yep. And it's just brutal. So 2 weeks ago we were in New York City.
Yep.
And I got a hotel room, and it was $250 at a Westin hotel near Times Square. That same weekend, I checked, and there was an AC Marriott hotel in Portland for $595 the same night.
Jeez.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Sunday
That
night.
is crazy.
So, again, hey, some people, they have to have hotels because they want all the conveniences. But
Exactly. That's what they prefer. They don't want to be in the woods.
Yep.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
That's cool. So we're gonna KOA it tomorrow night, and just down a Mystic.
Everybody likes that one down there.
Yeah, we've been to it before. I haven't been recently, but we're going there, and then wait a minute. That's Thursday night. What are we doing? Friday night we're just gonna stay at my brother's in his yard. And then Saturday, we're going to park it in our own yard at the Cape. But we needed it. Unless too many grandkids show up, then I'll just get out of there and go somewhere.
Hey, speaking about KOA, John and I covered this on our other show
listen to this.
Earlier tonight. KOA has partnered up with Meadowlark Brewing in Billings, Montana, and they've come up with a special KOA beer. It's called Happy Camper IPA. Now, if Tony, if you're still on, did you see the story about Happy? Because Tony's a beer guy. He likes to stop at a lot of places out there, and I think Frank does too when he's out there. Dante does a few. It's called Happy Camper IPA, but it's probably going to be mostly around the Billings, the Montana area. Both of them are long-time Montana.
North Dakota, Montana, South Dakota.
Yeah. And so we covered that Happy Camper IPA.
But
Tony says for $600 a night, it better come with a massage.
And that's not the massage that you put the quarters into the bed. So, but the thing is this: they could take it, the marketing of that one step further and call it a Be Hoppy, HOPPY. IPA. Get it, Bob? Instead of Be Happy, Be Hoppy.
Yeah, I got that.
Hops are beer is made with hops.
Tim says Hilton Garden Inn in Elkhart, 116 for a suite just last week. Yeah, Tim was out there. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it is Elkhart, but that is a nice praise. Yeah.
Don't worry, be happy. See, Peggy got it. Don't worry, be happy. Peggy,
be
happy.
Peggy jumps right on it.
Oh my God. No, her and Tony must be on separate laptops.
They could be.
Yeah. Where are you guys, Barthels? Well, where are you right now? Last time you were in Elkhart.
Peggy's in the hotel and Tony's out in the camper.
Yeah. Where are they? Tell us where you're at. Yep. I got my room for open house for $89 a night. Wow. You know what? I got to make those reservations.
Who got that for $89 a night?
Munising, Michigan. Why are you there? Munising, Michigan. Anybody been there?
Never heard of it.
In Michigan, and she is the camper, and I am in the screen tent.
Oh. We are in Michigan. So Tony, did you know about the KOA beer, the Happy Camper? Nice picture, nice press release. Nice picture of Toby sitting on a pile of beer cans.
Bob, time out.
What?
You said that today about she was sitting on cases of beer. She wasn't sitting on a pile of beer cans. That gives it a total separate meaning. The lady's the president and CEO of KOA, and you say that she's posing on a pile of beer cans.
You are right. It's a different visual.
Sheri, right? Right.
Yes. It sounds better on cases, not on beers.
Right.
Beer cans.
Cases of beer.
Cases of beer.
They were neatly stacked cases of beer.
Right.
And Toby's a Notre Damer, so she could probably throw down a few of those cans herself. So anyway, can you tell where?
John, are you driving out to open house?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, do you need me to drive anything back?
Well, no, we're not even. You know what? We still have the new ones, so we are not going out.
Not going out
again.
I think a lot of dealers will skip it. You know, with the inventories as high as they are, that they're certainly not going to be buying as much as they did the last couple of years.
Bobby said we don't need them. We're good.
I would buy a one-way air ticket and then drive back anything you need.
Yeah, no, we're actually. I mean, we are making better deals with private individuals and buy them that way and be able to resell them that way than we can with the new ones.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about that, Sheri, because that's been a big part of your business thanks to COVID.
Since COVID, we have had more people call us and say, so I heard you buying used units. I say, yeah, what do you got? And then I get all the information, print out. We got dealer black book. I do NADA, put it in front of my husband, put in front of Bobby. I said, what do you want to do? He tells me the numbers. I get back to the people. They decide what they want to do. We just bought a 2018 with 21,000 miles on it yesterday. He dropped it off. And he's paying off the loan. I'll have title. We just bought back one of the units we sold in 2020. It's a 24-foot with the bed on the slide, a Conquest with 34,000 miles on it. She did her 14 months around. She's done. She said, would you be interested in buying it back? I said, we buy wholesale. We bought it back. She's looking at down the road, possibly doing a trailer. Not sure, but she just wanted to sell this right now, lay low for a little, and then decide what she wants to do. We have bought back, I'd say this summer alone, 20 units bought outright between buybacks, individuals getting out of it. And we're talking like the Outlaw, the Class C that we're bringing down to Normandy, 2,500 miles on it, a 2021 that we bought back in February. And it's only 31 feet long. He bought it, used it once, and wasn't going to use it.
You said Class C, it's Class A.
Class C. So I've got the Class A,
wait a minute,
39 foot, and the Class C, 31 foot. I got two of them now.
That's right. Outlaw makes a Class A and a Class C.
Yep. I got two of them. So I got 2018 A
the Class A, yeah,
and the 2021 C.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how our fleet went from, we started like, say, 60 to 65 units at the beginning of the year. We're at 76 right now. And we sold, I'd say this year we probably have sold, say, 8. Okay, off the top of my head over the summer. But that we're sitting at 76 right now with everything online. And that's what's kept us in business, because buying used ones, I can rent them at a cheaper rate. So therefore I can get the people to rent them, because I'm basically competing with Outdoorsy, RV Easy, Cruise America. So I step up my game. You got clean, you got well-maintained, you got 24-hour landline to me. You got 24-hour phone service.
Right.
And
personal service. Yep.
Exactly. And of all these different ones, 70 different units. So I can rent them at a cheaper rate, but I'm also accessible 7 days a week. So people can take them on a Sunday and bring them back on a Sunday. That is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
You are right. You are right. And now, did you get a lot of traffic, a lot of going out for Labor Day? Is that a big rental weekend?
I mean, I thought it was going to be, but don't forget, the kids went back to school.
Right.
When the kids go back to school, everybody's trying to get them back on their schedule, and then we still have to get the school shopping done because we procrastinated. So since they went back to starting school a week before Labor Day,
Yep.
we lost that week. Think about this, guys. In the 80s and the 90s, school vacation, summer vacation was 15 weeks. When they started doing leasebacks, they guaranteed 15 weeks of rentals to anybody that bought a motorhome and put it in a leaseback program. So in the 80s and early 90s, the summer vacation was 15 weeks. Fast forward 40 years later, the summer vacation is now 8 weeks. That's it. We lost 7 weeks of vacation, ending later, starting earlier, and you lost all those. You used to get out at the middle of June, like around the 15th.
Yep.
You didn't go back till after Labor Day.
Right.
Now they got all the professional days. You still have your vacations, but you got all the professional days and, the snow days. So
Right.
If we could do Zoom during COVID, why can't we do Zoom during these years? So instead of a snow day, hey, fire up the tablet. We're doing it from home. Then
Right.
that would count and the kids would get out early again.
That's a good point.
You should run for school committee.
Yeah, I'm sure the teachers would love me on that one.
Not that you have the spare time.
Oh, it's crazy.
Actually, back in the 50s and 60s, we used to have 4-month summers. So it was much better back then.
But see, as years go on, we should have longer vacations and everything's getting shorter. It's not fair to the kids.
Well, especially now with the new work-life balance and people understanding that they can work from home 3 days a week and go to the office 2 days a week. So the amount of time that you're going to be spending with the kids is going in the right direction.
I know it is, but they need to step up the game. And instead of calling it a snow day, let's have it, we'll work from home, we'll do school from home, and then have that applied so we can still get out early in June so we can have a summer again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, plus
Speaking of summer again, tonight is over.
I know.
Well,
September 1st tomorrow.
Yep.
No, tomorrow's the 31st.
Okay. I did it by a day.
You're rushing it one day. That'll be Friday. All right,
I
Sheri,
know,
thank you very much for joining us. Any last minute comments that we're missing, John?
No. Sheri's always a wealth of information. And the fact is, it's a great place to either rent or buy. And,
Great idea.
And even if you want to see some of the units, because you're going to buy a new one, go over there because they have every floor plan imaginable.
Hey,
And,
Tim's coming out to open house. Class A sales are down 47%.
Yep.
Tony says I could write a review of that beer for KOA.
Yep.
Expert judge. Absolutely. Just go tell her and call Toby up and say I want a case of beer and I'll let you know how it tastes.
Yeah.
All right, Sheri, thank you. We will see you down the road and
thank you, Seacoast
sponsor and thank you, Seacoast RV.
Have a great
creating family
Labor Day
fun
weekend
on Route 1 and #1 crop dealer in the country, #1 elevation dealer in the country, a super Winnebago motorized and towable dealers. And we will see you guys next week.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.